Canadian Nuclear Laboratories' proposal for a near-surface disposal facility, or NSDF, is a responsible solution for low-level waste that will be generated from the cleanup mission at Chalk River. Let's move this environmental solution forward. Say yes to NSDF. Visit the Virtual Visitor Centre at engagewithcnl.ca/NSDF to learn more and how you can support this initiative. We encourage you to have your say.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Construction Record Express. I'm digital media editor Warren Frey, and with me today, as always,
staff writer at the Journal of Commerce, Russell Hixson. That's my dog jingling her collar in the background.
Good
My
cleaners.
East Vancouver studios.
I'm here from downtown Vancouver, and I'm here to ask Russell what has been happening this week.
Oh man, so many things. There's so many things that I could talk about. I'll start with what's happening in Winnipeg. There was a civil case that just wrapped up with a high-ranking government official at the city, and a judge found him to have been taking bribes for the Winnipeg Police headquarters project. Now, this was investigated heavily by the RCMP for years in a massive investigation, and the conclusion of that investigation was no charges. But the city wasn't happy with that. So they went and filed a civil suit against many, many people, including this official. I believe his name is Phil Schiegel. He used to be the chief administrative officer for the city. Him and a whole other, not to just single him out, there's a whole bunch of other people in other cases that are moving through the courts. It just so happens that this one has concluded. And the judge found that he, based on the evidence, he had taken more than $300,000 in bribes to manipulate the procurement process, to get rid of undesirable contractors, to feed Caspian Construction confidential information that gave him huge advantages in the procurement process. Just really disturbing corruption.
That sounds pretty bad,
frank.
to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I think that I've talked to people in BC about concerns over transparency in the procurement process, and this definitely reinforces that. Where when you don't have transparency, you don't know what's going on in the procurement process. I mean, who knows? Maybe something like this is happening. This is obviously very extreme. And then he tried to cover it up with a land deal in Arizona that he claimed the money was for, but the judge very brutally swatted that down and called it just incredible and completely ridiculous. So it's very disturbing, and we're going to probably have more news on this coming up as there's many more cases moving through that are related. It remains to be seen the details of the punishment for this. Obviously, he can't keep the bribe money. There's also severance money that he was paid that I believe he has to give back, and a bunch of other things. So that's one major story that broke out of Winnipeg. I also chatted with Metro Vancouver and their North Shore Wastewater Treatment Plant project, or at least a portion of it. A while back, we wrote about how they claim the contractor abandoned the project, fired a bunch of people, and it was very, very dramatic. It appears like the project is getting back on track. I chatted with them. They're bringing on PCL to come up with kind of a new game plan, and they're in negotiations to kind of finalize that contract. They're also working to keep the engineering contractor as the engineer of record, and they're trying to get this whole thing back on track. And they're also working with Aconia, the previous contractor, to try and kind of tie up all those loose ends. But yeah, that was a big dramatic story that happened a while ago, and it appears like they're making progress on getting this back on track because it's a massive project. It's critical for the region, and it appears things just really, really went south with the main contractor there.
Anything else?
Yeah, I also spoke with the CEO of and owner and founder of Westridge Construction, about this kind of a blast from the past. I saw them posting about this dam project from the 1990s and how it essentially was kind of critical in the growth of the company and what it's been growing into today, and how it helped them get through the doldrums in Saskatchewan that was happening at the time that claimed a lot of other companies, or a lot of companies even pulled out of Saskatchewan and stopped doing business there because the economic climate was just so brutal. But Westridge was able to, push its way through with this dam project, and it got them a lot of work. It helped them grow their workforce. They bought a bunch of equipment, and helped them kind of grow into the company they are today. And it was kind of fascinating to just hear about how they were able to do that, and how it was really critical. This kind of one infrastructure project kept them going. So yeah, you're going to get details of that in the coming weeks.
Okay, great. And from the East, for the past 2 days, Daily Commercial News staff writer Don Wall has been following a disruption in the aggregate sector in Ontario. He wrote that numerous Ontario construction projects are being threatened by protests at quarries by aggregate haulers who have parked their trucks looking for a major increase in rates. The work action by the haulers started March 14th, according to Jagrup Singh, who is the president of the Ontario Aggregate Trucking Association, and continued into a second week on March 21st. The disruption to the concrete supply chain prompted concerted action by representatives of 9 construction associations, including the Ontario General Contractors Association, the Ontario Road Builders Association, and Concrete Ontario on March 18th in the form of a letter addressed to Premier Doug Ford calling for emergency industry consultation on rising costs in general. Quote, "This is the straw that broke the camel's back," said OGCA President Giovanni Cotillo. "We have been trying to deal with all the issues on the supply chain in the last few years, and we've tried workaround suggestions and alternatives. This aggregate situation came upon us without any warning," end quote. And Daily Commercial News staff writer Angela Gismondi is writing a story about the new Neuroscience Laboratory and Research Building at the York University Keele campus in Toronto, located adjacent to the existing Sherman Health Science Research Center. The 3-level modern building, designed by HDR Architecture, is about 52,000 square feet and will house small and large interconnected research laboratories, locker rooms, meeting rooms, small multi-use experiment rooms, student and faculty offices, student and staff space, administration support spaces, and areas for mechanical and electrical equipment, as well as service support spaces. The construction management project is expected to begin this summer. The owner is York University, and the construction manager is Bulk Construction. The team is currently in the final phases of tendering the different packages and expecting the building permits. That's it for TCR Express this week. If you'd like to hear more, go to Amazon Music, Apple Music, or Spotify, or listen to us on the Daily Commercial News and Journal of Commerce websites. Thanks for listening.